touch Robinson's yardage just because his first game starting. I have him in fantasy. We were talking about this before. I stashed him at a late round, and now I'm in this dilemma of whether or not I should start him this week because I got J.K. Dobbins and him, and they're both guys where I just don't know if they're going to get the ball a lot. But I did take him on my ticket for an anytime touchdown because I believe he's going to get the goal line carries. I took Carson Wentz over 217 passing. I took Carson Wentz for an interception because he's always good for an interception.
Yep.
And I took Terry McLaurin over 54 yards. And that one was paying plus 1,200. So, I think McLaurin should be able to get that. And Carson Wentz, like I said, nobody I love ripping more than Carson Wentz. He's like my JaVale McGee for Shaq and a Fool. I was thinking about doing a segment on the show for, Commander Carson and the plays that he's done this week. Because no matter what, his stats are deceiving. I talked about it with Kalen in the chat earlier. Yeah, he'll have decent stats, but watch the guy play. He is a mess. There's no matter what, you're always waiting for him to blow it. Eventually he's like Vinny Testaverde. He's like one of those guys where, he'll put up stats, but he's going to blow it. So I expect an interception from Carson Wentz tonight.
Right. And realistically, the only team worse than the Bears right now is probably, or the only team worse than Washington, are the Bears. And that is why the Commanders are going on the road and getting a minus point.
Yeah.
The total, the Bears haven't had a total over 40 yet this year, but the totals keep hitting. So I don't understand why they haven't moved them down. The only one that didn't hit was the monsoon game. And of course that total is not going to hit. The second I saw the weather, I went and put the under, but they had a 36-point over-under against the Texans. I don't understand. Two bad teams, they're going to score on each other eventually. It's, you know 100%. What I mean? It's just seems kind of silly, but
well, you know what? Like Justin Fields' numbers aren't very good, but I have watched him this year. He's shown light. He has shown moments of, making big plays, and they wouldn't have a couple, but they have a couple wins already,
Yeah,
so like they wouldn't be winning football games if he didn't make some plays here and there. Carson, like if you ask me right now, like we were talking about earlier, like Carson Wentz or Justin Fields, like I'll still take Justin Fields right now because I know that there's an upside to Justin Fields. There's no upside to Carson Wentz. Like what you see is what you get. He ain't getting any better.
Yeah. Right.
But
his upside is already coming down.
Who the hell made this Thursday nighter is what I want to know. Like what the hell is that?
Everyone gets a primetime game, so
the coolest thing about this game are the Bears jerseys and helmet tonight. That's what I think. We're going all orange tonight. So
think of how smart the NFL people are. They knew damn well that there should have been a playoff game tonight. It got rained out, but they're going to put their worst product up against baseball playoffs.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's good.
And
good call.
still outview but they're still going to outview baseball. Like
that's
even
what I mean. They lucked out now because they're the only game on now. Because the Americans aren't watching hockey.
There is a little bit of college football on tonight, but nothing of note. So I would say that the only show in town tonight is that Bears Commanders game. So if you got an itch in your pocket like Rick and I, head on over to Coolback Canada and throw your bets in. But we can jump into a couple other things that are going to be happening this week. The biggest game of note outside of the games that we want, I guess the Raiders are on bye. The Chiefs and the Bills are playing this week in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can believe it, I guess it's not that unbelievable, but the Bills are favored by 2.5.
On the road.
Wow. In Arrowhead.
Yeah, that's crazy. You should never be favored in Arrowhead. That's weird.
Yeah, so funny enough, this is the first time Patrick Mahomes has been an underdog in his home stadium.
Wow.
In his whole career. Yeah. So that obviously leans into like the Kansas City dominance of late, but it shows you how good they are at home too and how the books have usually reacted. But I will say from being at the Bills game last week, Josh Allen is different. So I saw Brady and Mahomes play on the field.
That's crazy. What a weekend.
I mean, for sure. Like if you didn't know who Tom Brady was, he doesn't stand out watching from the stands. It was a bad game, granted. Mahomes does like Mahomes things. He goofs around, but Josh Allen is different, man. Like he looks so effortless, and he threw that ball like 50 yards right in Gabe Davis's lap. There was another one that he threw into Gabe Davis's lap that
From the end zone.
Fitzpatrick picked off, and Gabe Davis just like, nope,
Yep.
I'm taking that back, little boy. I don't know, man. Very,
Well,
very interesting.
they were comparing him, obviously different quarterbacks in ways, but they were comparing him to Mike Vick, like with that flick of the wrist, and under pressure and just going like that, and the ball goes 50 yards in the air, like no problem.
Yeah.
It's consistent. It's on the money. Not a lot of bad throws going on. And like Gabe Davis, does this guy catch a ball that isn't a touchdown? Like, holy Jesus, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think Josh Allen is like the best of every quarterback ever. He's got like the Dan Marino ability to throw it downfield, the Brett Favre gunslinger,
Steve Young in him too.
Steve Young built like a tight end.
Yeah,
like,
and just being able to escape pressure deceptively, and and doesn't slide a lot. Fucking takes the hit on. Big guy. Like, just who would have thought? When they drafted him, he was going to be this good. You saw him, you knew he was going to be good, but not this good. He's developed so, and what's good about him is he's gotten better every year. So it's scary. Where he just he continues to get better all the time. So it's fun to watch them. Like, the team is it's good for Buffalo fans. Fuck, it's been a tough everything really for them. So
I do have a beef with Buffalo fans, and then we can move on here and kind of like bounce around to the game. But I was there. I was wearing my Mean Joe Green jersey, minding my own business. And these guys feel like they've already won the last 5 Super Bowls. I got to tell you, they are celebrating everything like they've already won, and that they have nothing left to prove, and that they are God's gift to football. I would say,
one shit.
To all Bills fans, settle down. You haven't won anything. You haven't even played in the conference championship game to lose that. Get to where you need to be before you start talking about how you have the greatest this, the greatest that. Chant MVP in the stands if you want. It's week 4, guys. Calm down. It's week 4. Would you rather be the MVP?
You guys probably had an MVP. You lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, so just don't ever forget that.
So that's what I'm saying. Would you rather have the MVP, or would you rather have a Super Bowl trophy? Because there is no such thing as moral victories. Ask Dan Campbell and the Lions. There's no such focus on what you need to do. Cheer your team on. Yeah, get excited. But you haven't won. You haven't won shit, and there was a lot.
If you were winning, the Steelers were winning, man, I could see it. But getting your ass kicked, like, take it easy, like I wouldn't even do that if I was a fan of the game, seeing it.
But the thing is, if I was being an idiot and somebody wanted to say something, all good. But I remember being there, pre-pandemic, pre-Josh Allen, and it was like so hospitable, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we're so happy you're here," like it's cool, go football. Now like, this is bullshit. Who sold their season tickets to you? Like, relax, buddy. It's either that or the seats would have been empty. Like, you're not the hottest ticket. You might be the hottest ticket in your town because Buffalo's a shithole, but you're not the hottest ticket in the NFL right now. Like, settle down. We're watching the Bills and the Steelers here. This is probably the number 1 seed in the AFC and the number 14 seed in the AFC. So, like, cool it. We're not in a heated rivalry here.
So I have to just say this off topic a little bit just to touch on it. I don't know if you've seen the clip of Michael Buble the other night.
No.
Pretty amazing, actually. He's obviously Canadian. He's from BC. He was doing a show in Buffalo a couple days ago, and he came out with a Sabres jersey, and everyone's a little confused, right? And at the end of the concert, I don't know, he must have been drunk or something, because like he's like, I know I'm Canadian. He's like, but the Leafs can suck it. Go Sabres! So even Michael Buble is delusional on Buffalo at this point. But the best part about it is he was doing a concert in Toronto the next night. So, just another guy jumping on the different Buffalo bandwagon. But win something first, then we'll talk about you.
And that's just it. And look, I know that they're on their revenge tour, and last year the Steelers got them in Orchard Park, so maybe there's a little bit of like loose feelings, but this week, you know what? If they go in and they shit kick the Chiefs, which I don't think they're going to, I think it's gonna be a great game. But if they go in and shit kick the Chiefs, start lining up the parade. But either way, it's still week
Hopefully, they
6.
cover Travis Kelce. That's all I know, because apparently the Raiders didn't want to cover him. So,
Yeah, yeah.
how do you let a guy like that get wide open 4 times for 4 touchdowns? Like,
yeah.
I,
He got
like, what the fuck, man?
he got the Al Bundy. He got the Al Bundy treatment. That's all over the
Oh
place
god!
right now.
Just he's wide open. The one he just floats it. It took like 10 seconds to get to him in the end zone. He's just sitting there
Yeah.
waiting for it. I was like, God forbid, guys. Like, yeah, look at old Raiders. And we won't even talk about it because that's just what the Raiders do. They blow it. So
Now,
know.
now, I probably won't chime in a ton on this game because I'm gonna have a little bit of homer bias. But I do think that it's a pretty interesting spot that Kenny Pickett's in going against Tom Brady. One week he goes against Josh Allen. Next week he's Tom Brady. Any hope that this is the week that his first touchdown pass gets thrown? Because right now he still hasn't thrown one, and they're not. It doesn't seem like they're going to make a move in offensive coordinators. I'm not sure if it's the offensive coordinator's fault altogether, even though there was a Bills fan in the stands that said we think TJ Watt is the best defensive player in the league. I said, yeah, we have the best 2 defensive players in the league. And he's like, what? Like, yeah, Matt Canada is the second best defensive player in the league because that guy is totally against scoring points. But yeah, I mean, is there any hope that Kenny Pickett throws his first touchdown pass here?
I would say, yeah. I would say a chance he throws one. Yeah, like the Bucs, their wins haven't been pretty this year for the most part. Like even last week when they looked like they were in total control of that game, they let them creep back into it. They seem to be making big plays when they need to be made, but their team isn't. It's not. Like, I'm not saying they're going to lose, but I believe they'll be able to get a touchdown at least this game. But at home, Tom Brady's got the turmoil going on. I know he doesn't play defense, but it should lead to a few 3-and-outs early. That seems to be a thing going on for Tampa Bay recently. Going on with 3-and-outs. It's like boomer bust kind of seems like for them. So, I think you get a touchdown this week for sure.
So
hopefully, my kid's going to be completely demoralized if he doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good thing that he's going to throw it at home in front of the home crowd, and he's got all
he
the
does
support
like
there.
Pickett, though. I watched that. He definitely got a good connection with him. So
I think it's either going to go to him or Freiermuth if Freiermuth plays. But what I think my best bet or one of my top bets this entire weekend is going to be is the over 44.5 in that game. I'm actually hoping that people are hammering the under, so it comes down even a little bit more. But I'll take that price all day, and I'll take the over 44.5 because I'm picturing something like 27-21 bucks probably. So like somewhere in that range. It's a little bit too close for comfort for the guys like Shanti and
you don't
Chad.
think they'll cover then?
8 points is a lot, man. 8 points is a lot
Well,
in active short field.
Did you watch the show last week? I'll probably not because you're on vacation, but I talked your Steelers up big time last week on the show. I really did. I said I think this could be a trap game. I thought they were better than what they put up there. And watching Buffalo the week before, they look like they had some holes. I know they're a good team, but I really thought that there was some holes there, and they proved me wrong big time. But nobody likes to get their ass kicked bad like that 2 weeks in a row. And like you said, back at home, I expect Mike Tomlin to have a game plan ready to go for this, and hopefully keep it close for you, because I know how tough it is to watch our teams this year. It's not fun.
I think they'll keep it close. Another game, 1:00. I'm kind of looking forward to because I want to see who's playing quarterback for them. But I think the Vikings and the Dolphins is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. It looks like Skylar Thompson's lining up for his first career start.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll see what comes out of it. I don't know if he's the kind of guy that can get the ball out to Waddle and Tyreek if they both end up playing. But I think it's safe to say that. I don't honestly. I don't know. Like I think he has to take all of his snaps from shotgun. He didn't take a lot of snaps under center in college. He can definitely run around a little bit, and I think he played like 7 or 8 years at Kansas State. But
I expect Minnesota to win this. Like I like the way Minnesota's playing. It's not pretty necessarily what they're doing right now, but they're doing something they haven't done recently, and that's finding a way to win.
Well, let me shock you for a second. Knowing that and knowing all of that you just said, the Minnesota Vikings on the road are only a 3.5-point favorite.
Yeah.
Or sorry, a 3-point favorite. It just changed. 3
Yeah.
points.
Yep. Well, that's because Kirk Cousins is still playing quarterback, but
it's a 1 o'clock game.
Yeah, I know, but he's still it's still Kirk Cousins, it's you look at his stats: 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. The guy lately, like I said, he's found a way to come back and get it done. But he's still going to make his mistakes. This Miami team's still a good team. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. The defense can play. I think they should be able to keep it on the road. It's going to be hot, and Minnesota's used to playing in a dome these days. So I expect that to be an adjustment for them. But I still expect Minnesota to win this. Just give Justin Jefferson the goddamn ball, and Dalvin Cook's coming around too.
Right, and we're gonna rapid fire. We're gonna rapid fire through some of these games, and we're probably not gonna touch on all of them.
I want to touch on just real quick. I want to touch on the New York teams because who in the hell ever thought we were going to be talking about the fucking New York teams?
I think the Jets are good, man. The Jets are good.
They are good, and that's what kills me is they're still a 7.5-point dog on the road after Packers just lost to the Giants. This Packers team is still getting touted as a great team. There's a lot of holes there. Defense is playing all right, but the offense is struggling. The Jets are hungry. I love Robert Saleh. I love his demeanor on the sidelines. The guy's obviously very smart. I think the Jets have a chance in this game. I'm not saying they will win, but 7.5 points is pretty rude. And the same thing for the Ravens to be favored 5.5 on the Giants on the road. Like, if these teams not showed enough yet, they should not be, that big of an underdog on a spread. I think they both have a chance to win. But
yeah, I mean, what it comes down to is the books haven't caught up and they're a little bit slow on the money here. But it's pretty. I'm gonna lay the 7.5 with the Jets for sure, assuming that the Packers are still gonna win the game. But the Packers are having a hard time finishing. Granted that all of their blunders have been on the road. Going back home to Lambeau could be a different situation. I do think that the Packers defense is good. Can Zach Wilson muster enough plays to make it happen? I think that as long as the run game is there and they're hanging around in the fourth quarter, I wouldn't want to be Matt LaFleur or Aaron Rodgers in this thing, because the worst thing is about, when all these young players, you don't know what you don't know, but they don't even realize that they're not supposed to be winning this game. They're just wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and they're ready to roll. And I feel the same way about the Giants. We got on Kalen
Saquon Barkley's back, baby. Like, holy.
We got on Kalen hard after week 1. We gave him a lot of shit, but maybe the Tennessee team offensively is overperforming at this point. They're doing a little bit better. The Tennessee defense is awful, but maybe we shouldn't have given them so much shit about the Giants, because I don't think that the Giants are that bad. And when it comes down to it, the thing that might keep the Giants out of the playoffs, and that's weird to say,
their division.
The division. It's just exactly. It's so wild.
It's wild how things change in the NFL so quick, eh?
Dak Prescott hurt his hand, and I was like, wow, this is the worst fucking division in football. Turns out, no, it might be one of the best. Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's like we thought that my division was going to be the best at the beginning of this year. Now you got the Raiders at 1-3 and the Broncos at 2-3. And, the Chargers, just hovering above 500 as well. The only team, doing well really is Kansas City. So it's crazy how quick. And that's what we love. That's what we love the NFL, man. Like, we love the parity. It's the only league where this happens so drastically year to year. No other league that happens. When you go in the NBA, you know what teams are going to be good. And there's that odd team that surprises. But, for hockey, for the most part, what teams are going to be in the finals. For the most part. And baseball, we'll end up with probably the 2 number 1 seeds in the World Series too. This is the only league where, teams that were just terrible last year, all of a sudden are good. And it can be coaching. It can be, it can be scheme. It can be a guy coming back from an injury like Saquon Barkley. Whoever thought that he could do this again? I didn't. I wouldn't have touched him with a 10-foot pole in fantasy. And the guy, he looks like he was a rookie. He looks like a rookie again. It takes a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just getting the right push in the right direction. And all it takes is a couple early wins, and to get your steam and get your confidence going. And it's that's why we love it. You know, that's why we watch it any given Sunday, baby.
Exactly. And you know what? Based on what you're talking about, the next game we need to talk about, Saints
Yeah.
and Bengals. Bengals are taking a 2-point favorite on the road, which means that's probably going to be Kalen's pick this week because that guy doesn't know what a favorite means when we do our pick 'em. But did you see that he picked a 1-point favorite the last week? What a guy. But yeah, I think it's interesting.
I thought it had to
Joe
be 2.5
Burrow.
at least.
Yeah, it does have to be 2.5. That's why I'm tripping at him. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase go back into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and let's see what they can pull out of it. I mean, those guys had a hell of a lot of success in college together. I think that the Saints are faltering. The Saints are not a good team. I think Kamara is a good player.
Not as good without Drew Brees, that's for damn sure.
Well, I think that we probably all underestimated how good of a coach Sean Payton was.
Yep. He'll be back in the NFL next year.
Well, I think he thought he was going to be in Dallas, and then Cooper Rush happened. So, I don't know.
He's waiting for the right opportunity, but you know he'll be going in somewhere, 100%.
Yeah, I mean he's not going to go to Carolina, I don't think. But you know that Carolina job's open. Apparently, there's a fire sale happening, and there's a small rumor floating.
There's going to be an opening in the Raiders real soon. So
yeah, well, there is a rumor floating around that CMC is gonna get traded to the Bills.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Right.
That'd be disgusting.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Because the guy's still crazy, man. So yeah, I expect big things for James Cook still, though. I think that guy's going to be a superstar once he gets enough carries.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't give up him, which you know maybe a guy like that's in the deal. I don't really know what a trade market would look like for a guy like CMC. You would expect that you'd want a first round pick back for him. It seems like the owner just wants to blow it up and start fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, do your thing, do what you got to do. Teams that have always blown it up and started fresh, Cleveland Browns going on they are at home, or where are they? Yeah, the Cleveland Browns are at home to the Patriots.
Well, shout out to Mitch. Mitch is front row for that game, actually. So
is he? Good for him. So he's gonna get to see Jacoby Brissett versus Bailey Zappi, which is
Well, it's unfortunate, but his buddy that he's going with is a huge New England fan, and he had an extra ticket, so he offered him to go with him. So pretty cool.
That's sick. Well, tell him to take a couple pictures. We'll post it up on our site.
Yeah, for sure. I will. 100%.
Yeah, that's so. I think you know what I watched Bailey Zappi in college. I'm not going to say that I studied his whole career, but I watched. He is the all-time leader in touchdown passes in NCAA history.
I saw that for Division. For who did he play for? He played for
Western Kentucky
or something. Yeah,
no,
but the guy can clearly throw the ball with touch.
Yeah.
Like, look at Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers wants him to stay as the quarterback.
You know what?
He looked amazing last week.
It seems like I'm not writing off Mac Jones. I'm not going to say Mac Jones is bad, but I don't think Mac Jones was the 15th overall pick. And if you ask me right now, would I rather have Mac Jones or Kenny Pickett? Granted, 1 start versus 16 starts, 17 starts, whatever Mac Jones has. I guess he has like 20 starts. I'm going to take Pickett, not because I think that Pickett is more experienced, more whatever. He just doesn't seem to be faltered by making the throw. And if your quarterback is making the first start of his NFL career and he's still trying to be competitive when you're down 35 points, I can get behind somebody like that, you know?
So like Brett Favre, baby.
Yeah. And you know what? I when I watched Pickett play, I thought, you know, he's like a mix of Brett Favre and like Justin Herbert, which wow, what a comparison after 1 star, right? Like anoint the guy with
he's got the lengthiness of Herbert and, you know, kind of the same arm motion, but he's got the, you know, the care and the willingness to throw, kind of like Brett too. Like I could see it for sure. And you know, we all know Brett being down, getting his ass kicked on Minnesota University Stadium with no fucking, no heating under the field. Didn't even have to play that game. They were out of the playoffs in a fucking snowstorm, and the guy was getting his ass kicked. and he threw a touchdown at the end of that game when they had no chance to win, and he still ran down the field with his arms in the air. That's why I love Brett Favre, and that's what I look for in any quarterback. I don't care if you're losing. I don't care if you're winning. You should always be playing the game with integrity like that.
Right. And unfortunately, Brett Favre's integrity seems like it ran out after his football career ended. So
that's all right. We don't judge people for things they do after their career.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't like a lot of people.
yeah. I guess you're talking about O.J. Simpson.
Well, a little bit before my time, but yeah, the juice was pretty sweet. Ask Buffalo fans.
Yeah. So we got about 2 minutes left here.
I want to touch real quick on the Dallas and the Eagles, though, because that's a big game. Cooper Rush, gosh, who would have thought, And it's just crazy because you can see how hesitant Dak is on the sidelines to cheer for him. It's like when it first started, he's like, good job, man, good job. But now it's like, oh shit, he did it again. Good job. And obviously they shouldn't have a quarterback controversy because as much money as he makes, but the guy's winning. So it's just hard. This is the big one. This is where Dak's hoping that he loses. And then it'll be easy to go back to Dak if they lose this game. But, Philly's been super impressive on every aspect of the game. So at home, I expect the Cooper Rush streak to come to an end. But if it doesn't, then we're really got a big dilemma.
Yeah. And I talked to a couple Cowboys fans that I know, and they just want Dak back. They don't even care what Cooper Rush is doing. They want Dak back.
Sounds like a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, exactly. And when I look at it, I think like the way that the Cowboys have been playing from week 2 till week 5, week 6, that is what I expected the Steelers and Mitch Trubisky to do. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they're going to run the ball. Trubisky could put the ball up every once in a while if he needs to, but instead he acted like
losing Watts is huge, for you guys. But that's like losing Micah Parsons for the Cowboys. So
yeah, and look, I mean, we don't have to draw the comparison. Everything doesn't have to be Steelers talk, but I can't help myself. But I do think that the Eagles are legitimate. But I would say going into this week, something feels weird. The Eagles
division. Anything could have a division. You know that. So
Eagles at 5-0. I don't know. I don't think it's happened. I think it's the Cowboys this week.
Well, there's way too many weird things going on. The Cowboys being 4-0 under Cooper Rush, and the Eagles being 6-0 under Jalen Hurts, a guy that people were writing it up before the season even started. These are two things that nobody thought was going to happen. So when you have two things, something's got to give here.
6.5 points for the Eagles is too much, in my opinion. And I'm not saying it's going to be an outright for the Cowboys, but I do think that I'll lay the 6.5 with the Cowboys. And I would really, really hope that people hammer the Eagles here, and we can get this number up to 7, because I'd feel really good about this number at 7.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say the Eagles cover. That's my prediction. I think, like I said, I think the magic comes to an end this week. For Cooper Rush, but yeah, I'm just hoping you have a good Sunday nighter, because we got to make up for this Thursday nighter tonight.
Yeah, well, let's go enjoy this Thursday nighter tonight. I can check it on the Penguins game and see what's going on.
Shout out! I want to just mention real quick. Next week we'll be doing a UFC preview. We got a banger. Me and Daniel Son are going to be back. We're going to do a little Slick Rick show for that, because we got Oliveira fighting. We got Dillashaw fighting. We got 3 championship fights on the card. It is a stack card, so we're going to do a nice little coverage on that for you, and we'll do another after further review as well.
Absolutely, and make sure that you're checking out the socials and like and subscribe to everything, because that helps us out. Throw a comment in, review the page. Anything you can do. If you got any feedback, let us know, and we will see you guys after this week of football.